food, I would ask him, do you want to have a bite? I would come out of nowhere and just have a fruit bowl and just offer him some fruit. He didn't know none of this. So my husband, back then boyfriend, really thought this was a dream come true. He didn't know how to deal with none of this because all this me coming through, just being nurturing by nature, his peoples and his family didn't even do that for him. You know, like the family, there is no family unit. The average family, especially Black American family, has barely a family unit. You know, there is no breakfast, lunch, and dinner at set times. And these are things that I introduced my husband to with my family. Can you imagine that impact that I had on him back then? So gentlemen, do not be afraid of traveling. There are so many more women out there who are willing to take care of you. It doesn't matter if they're young, it doesn't matter if they're older. They are willing to take care of you, willing to work with you, willing to be a part of your life. You don't have to deal with whatever you are dealing with back in your hometown, because unfortunately, a lot of American women are lost in the delusional world that they are living in, and they don't even understand that they are going to be lonely for a long time, if not for the rest of their life. They say by choice, but I don't believe them.
Ooh. Hello. Welcome, guys, to Little Blackbird 91. Listen, now you know me. I like intelligent conversations. I don't like people that don't use their brain. So I want to start off real strong. This young lady here, a German white woman who's also Turkish, I believe as well, with a background, comes out and says, that, she was dating a young Black man from America. And she is saying basically that, she didn't have any competition because, the American quote unquote woman isn't a competition because they don't do the femininity. They don't serve. They don't submit. They don't, take care of their men. And actually, she ended up kind of saying that within, and she specified the Black household, they don't take care. We don't have a good, strong family household, so it's easy to have a hold on these Black men. First and foremost, make sure you like, share, subscribe, guys, because if any, and the problem with this is that the people that were enjoying this content are the same people that are invested in gender wars, that are invested too much in creating divide between Black men and Black women. The people that are really backing this woman are, I feel like, are losing brain cells. I feel like we're losing brain cells. And I really say that because you didn't actually hear the insinuation that this woman made. You see, you think because she was backing the point of letting, quote unquote, backing the Black man's plight. And one thing I've really realized about this particular space where we're talking about gender wars specifically, what I've really noticed is the inability to use two brain cells to understand when you are being at war with another, when you're being put at war and you are actually being used. You don't realize that? You don't realize what she's actually doing here, right? She actually insulted the Black man, and then the Black man is like, "Oh my gosh, yes, the Black woman, they don't take care of us." And you're so. I want to show you something. Let me just show you something before I even get deep. Before we get deep, let's listen. There's another video I just need to play really quickly. Just what she was kind of saying. Just before I get deep.
Video that has went viral. Today, I'm going to respond to a couple of reaction videos. And as you guys know, a lot of them are good, but the majority coming from women, of course, are bad. Are you surprised at the insults? No. Are you surprised at the name calling? No. Are you surprised that some women are triggered? No. Why? Because they're the problem, not me. Before I get into the first clip, I do want to address and make it clear one more time that I never attacked Black women. I never attacked any woman. I never said anything against Black women. I don't even understand where all this hate towards me is coming from. I do have an explanation, but that's a different story. But as far as today, get ready, sit back, relax, because I will be cooking, roasting, stirring and frying, and eating these broads up one more time. Let's go.
This video is dedicated to that German woman who's on the internet in Black women's business. First of all, you're stupid.
You're stupid. That is so childish.
Okay, before we get any deeper, because I don't wanna get to that place just yet, right? Okay, cool. So here's my biggest problem with this situation. When you really actually listen to what she said, she insinuates. This is why I'm not a dickhead. I'm gonna use plain English today. I want people to understand. I'm no dickhead and I'm not a fool. When you insinuate, you don't have to say the thing completely. You are insinuating. Should we look up the word insinuating just so that we can actually educate people? Because I feel like people want to be able to play this game where they play like they're playing dumb. And I don't like people trying to be dumb when you're trying to incite race wars or trying to incite black people against black people, black men against black women. It's too easy, right? I don't get off on this. I don't like it, right? To insinuate means suggest or hint something bad or reprehensible in an indirect or unpleasant way. Let me say that again so we can educate ourselves. Suggest or hint something bad or reprehensible in an indirect and unpleasant way. One of the things that's really annoying about this situation is that specifically, okay, all right, specifically when it comes to the gender wars between black men and black women, white women, I'm going to say it straight because she is white. She might have a little bit of a splash of color, and I don't know, but she got some white in her. Okay, they specifically play on this aspect because it's a part of what we've experienced as warfare psychologically over the course of how many hundreds of years. You see, just because we're not in chains does not mean that we're not still underneath oppression. And so one of the ways that they do it, one of the ways that psychological warfare happens is to be something like this, where you indirectly say something. I hate it because I'm not dumb. You know what I'm saying to you? And we're not dumb. So the reason why the title became where it became is because of what you actually said. So let's play the clip again. I will stop it, pause it, break it, and then we'll explain why this is inciting what we're citing. Let's listen again, okay? First and foremost.
I already knew I had him because there was simply no competition out there for me. But let's just look at it objectively. You had this.
Okay, let's pause this right here. First and foremost, the reason why your man's got no competition is because nobody wants him. Can I say it again? Let's start there. And this is why I have an issue with some of the black male content creators. And there are some women out there who do the exact same thing. I've got there's a woman out here who's, I'll show you a video of hers, a black woman who I like to call it. This is when they say pandering for men talk about women, about men pandering towards women. I feel like there are women who pander towards men, and I find it so frustrating. But what's really interesting about this is she says, her man had no competition. Yeah, there was no competition because nobody wanted him. Now, deep what you're saying. How can a man who's wanted? No. Can we deep this? How can a man that's wanted, that actually is liked by other people, women specifically, have no competition? Oh, there's no competition for your man? Nobody wants him. That's the whole point. Why do you want him? Right? Because if we talk about the psychological aspect of women, what we call social proofing, right? That women oftentimes like men that do have other women after her. The fact that he had no competition is not because you're amazing. It's because there was nobody after him. So how can you make this an argument, right? That you're trying to boast yourself on a particular level. That's why people are looking at you some type of way, right? That's the first thing. Okay, let's continue because that's point number one.
Average black American guy who now was able to choose between what he was dealing with before and somebody completely new. And
let's pause it right there. So we've mentioned the average black American guy. Why didn't you just mention the average American guy? We know you're married to a black man, but why don't you just make it the average American guy so that no one can be offended and say the average American guy is suffering? But you specified. I know that's not the word, but you specified. Okay? Yeah? You specified the fact that he's a black man. Okay? All right? So you already start bringing race into it because you could have just said an American man. So don't try to play dumb now. Don't try to play coy now like you don't know why black women are coming after you. Don't play coy now. And this is my issue with some of the black men, not all, some of the black men, but specifically in the black manosphere. This is what I find out. Men that have brains, that are really thinking, that are not invested in war, that are not profiting from making black women against black men, that actually want to genuinely see black men and black women come together. If you really are interested in this, then this is a problem for you. No, if you genuinely are interested and not trying to profit over black men and black women fighting, then you have a problem with this. You have a problem with this because there is no need for her to mention a black man. Of course, she's married to a black man, but she could have just said she could have said an American man, If she was speaking specifically about American men, she could have specified just American men, but she specified Black American. Am I a fool or am I a fool? I am neither of those things. And so we are hearing what you're saying. Don't drown me and then tell me you're not drowning me. Don't put your hand on my head and push me into a water and tell me you're not drowning me. Let's play on.
And let me tell you, the moment I stepped into that man's life, he really didn't know how to deal with my femininity because I was not loud. I was not screaming. I was not trying to, be louder than him. I didn't interrupt him because that's not something that I learned from home. If somebody would speak, and especially...
Now here, she's been very general. We're not going to specify it yet. She's being very general. She said, listen, and she's saying, oh, I'm not very loud. I'm not this. I'm not that. Now, we know those traits are usually associated when it comes to warfare to Black women, but we're not going to project because we're going to allow her to finish her points, right? We're not going to project because if we project, it means that we believe that about ourselves and we're going to project. So we're going to allow her to have this moment because she hasn't specified anything. She just said loud, she's servable and she's, malleable and all that kind of things. We're not going to project. So we're not going to make that a warfare. You hold that, sis. I don't know who you're talking about, who does those things, but we're not going to project and say it's our people then. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah? We're going to let you have that moment. Okay.
Actually, a man, you would let that man speak and then you would listen and then say whatever you have to say, right? So I was clean. I cooked. He didn't know what it was when a woman is actually in the room asking him, like, do you want something to drink? Before I got myself something to drink. Do you want something to eat? Before I started to eat my food, I would ask him, do you want to have a bite? I would come out of nowhere and just have a fruit bowl and just offer him some fruit. He didn't know none of this. So my husband, back then boyfriend, really thought this was a dream come true. He didn't know how to deal with none of this because all this me coming through, just being nurturing by nature, his peoples and his family didn't even do that for him,
Well, let's pause it right here. Is it nature? Or is it that you've been nurtured to be that way? And there's nothing wrong with this, by the way. You're saying it's nature. But if it's nature, everybody would have it. Like, language is very powerful. I'm very careful about language. You saying that, you're a very attentive person, you're caring, you're this, you're that, you serve people, da, 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 da. I'm very careful about language. When you now say it comes by nature, well, then by nature, we'd all have it. All women would have it. Whether they're American, whether they're Black, whether they're Mexican, it would be born in them. They would have it innately within themselves. So what you're talking about is being nurtured in that way. And words are very powerful. It's important because of the way that people actually subconsciously allow words to go beyond the thinking process and into the subconsciousness. We have to be very careful what words we say. So when you say that it's nature, I'm questioning that, saying, okay, if it's nature, then everybody has it. Why are you talking? Unless, and again, unless you're actually really saying that there's a particular people that have a nature that's above other people's natures, which makes them superior, which goes into what we talk about, this idea of white supremacy that permeates all cultures that actually have white folk in just by skin. They know, I'm just going to be real with you. Like, I'm not trying to shoot anybody down, but let's keep it a buck right now. It actually permeates into the idea of superiority that exists within white supremacy. So when you go and say by nature, I'm going to ask a question. Who are you? Who you actually mean everybody then? That would mean all women have that nature then. So why would we be talking about it then? But it's not. It's by nurture. You are nurtured in that particular way by your culture, by your father, by your mother, in that essence, right? So it's really important to mention that because otherwise people start thinking a particular way. But anyway, again, we're not going to project because you haven't said nothing. Let's just work with that.
Like the family, there is no family unit. The average family, especially Black American family, has barely a family unit. There is no breakfast, lunch, and dinner at set time.
Now let's pause it right here. Let's just go back. Let me rewind. Let me rewind. I'm going to rewind.
Black American family has barely a family unit. There is no breakfast that for him. Like the family, there is no family unit. The average family, especially Black American family, has barely a family unit. There is no breakfast, lunch, and dinner at set times. And these are things that I introduced my husband to with my.
Well, let's freaking pause right freaking there. See, if I'm a black man who's American, specifically, I would be pissed. Let me tell you why I'd be pissed. Because you are responsible for what she's talking about. Oh. Oh. You see, the funny thing about this is that you don't realize that whilst you back this woman, that she's actually talking about your ass. How much respect can she have for the black man if she can tell you that the black family unit is barely there? Oh, did you think that you're free? Are you forgetting how do you get a family unit in the first place? Does a woman impregnate herself? Does a woman have a child by herself? No, can you tell me that? Does a black woman have a child by herself, or does she have it with a black man? Think about what you're saying. Now, before you go and jump off the edge, because you're probably going to tell me, well, women need to choose better. Before you jump off the ledge, the question is, okay, is it the chicken or the egg? You're going to tell me a black woman should choose better. No, is it the chicken or the egg? Because regardless of whether you say she should choose better, she end up choosing one of ours. This is why we're in this situation in the first place. Do you get what you're saying? Right? Because why did she not have the ability to choose better? What household did she grow up in? What family unit did she come from? Was it not a black family household? Was there not a man that was involved in that family household, whether he was there or was not there, whatever, it doesn't make a difference. Did she not come from a black family household? Think about what you're actually saying. This is why I'm saying to you, you have to use brain cells. And when you don't use brain cells, you're here clapping like a damn whale and sea lion and going off like, yeah, she's talking about what we want as black men. We're talking about black women all the time. We tell them that they don't respect us, and you don't deep what this woman's actually saying. She's cussing your ass, and your bottom behind. Think about what she's really saying. She's telling you there's no black family unit. Whose fault is that? Oh, it's only the woman. No, think about what you're really saying. Think about what you're saying. It takes two to tango. It takes two to make a family. It takes two to get pregnant. This is a beautiful thing about God, what he does. He says, listen, if you want to look at the woman, you got to look at yourself. And if you're a woman and you look at the man, you got to look at yourself. Because it takes two to tango. Did she come from a strong matriarch? Or did she come from a strong family too? And was that family too? Was there a man and a woman in there? In that family, was there a man and a woman in that family too? All right then. So she came from a very good family where they, quote unquote, a very good family who has square meal sets for 3 times during the day. Okay, cool. How do they get that? There's a man and there's a woman. Think about what you're really saying. Think about what she's really telling you. And then you think I'm going to be comfortable wanting to, and this is honestly, this is why I struggle with dating outside of my race once I got understanding. There's no beef, anybody. This is why I struggled with it, because it's very hard, because to find the right kind of person, you need to find a person whose mind is not prevalent in white supremacy. And that's very difficult. And when I say difficult, what I mean by that is that there are tropes, there are stereotypes, there are ideas. And so you have to find the right kind of person. If you're going to date outside your race, and I mean black men or black women, I don't waste with any of you. If you decide to date outside your race, please be sensible about who you're choosing, because people have a supremacist mindset. This is a black white woman with this mindset, and there are white men who have the same mindset. So you have to be very, very careful about what you bring into your household and what you begin to marry, because you don't know, you can end up hurting yourself, if not you, your children, simply by the ideas that the person may carry. This is not about not dating interracially. I'm going to tell you that again. This is not about dating interracially. If you want to date white, date white. I don't care. What I'm telling you is be very careful about the prevalent thought. Do not be ignorant of what thought process people have. And this is the honest reality of what the world we live in. So you got to be very careful how you move in this world, because we've got this woman here coming on like she got no competition. Baby, nobody wanted a man. That's why you got competition. When have you ever seen a good-looking guy? No, can we be deep? When have you met a good-looking guy, whether he was average, whether he was rich, whether he was a celebrity, and he has you have no competition at all? No other woman wants him. Think about what you're saying.
Family. Can you imagine that impact that I had on him back then? So gentlemen, do not be afraid of traveling. There are so many more women out there who are willing to take care of you. It doesn't matter if they're young, it doesn't matter if they're older. They are willing to take care of you, willing to work with you, willing to be a part of your life. You don't have to deal with whatever you are dealing with back in your hometown, because unfortunately a lot of American women are lost in the delusional world that they are living in, and they don't even understand that they are going to be lonely for a long time, if not for the rest of their life. They say by choice, but I don't believe them.
So that is why you're getting dragged by black women in that space. And listen, I'll do another video probably tomorrow for you guys. But this is why you're getting dragged. You're getting dragged, okay? Because of the way that you're not understanding the nuances of what's actually happened here. You're getting hold on, guys. You're getting dragged because of the fact that you're not actually used. Let me hold on. I want to play this video because I see this. Whoa, come on, internet, play yourself. I see this a lot within the scope of the internet whenever there's this warfare because people are making money from it. Like, have you noticed that red pill content has gone away? Have you noticed that red pill content has died down? Do you know why? Because the money is no longer there. People were doing this for a buck. And this is when you realize that people are devilish in the way they pursue money because they're willing to kill people, metaphorically speaking, to get this money. You willing to have a warfare? To prove what? I was listening to this young lady. It's not one.
This is how women are feeling. But people got eyes. They see it and they realize what it is. And because they speak on it, a lot of these women are upset and mad, big mad. So let's get into what has triggered these women, baby, in the comments and all over social media. Let's go ahead and get into the clip. Here we go. But you got to be mad at yourself, sis. Seriously. I've even seen men who are saying, why are Black women condoning this? I'm like, see, no accountability. You can't just continue with this narrative that Black men ain't ish and they all this and bottom of the barrel. You will not make a plate for him. You can make your own plate. I'm not doing ish for you. I'm not doing nothing. All of them the same. They're all bad. And then when other races of women come out and say, hey, I knew there was no competition because I know that y'all are not going to offer what I was raised and taught to offer. Why get mad? Why is everything a red flag for Black women? Why can't Black women be questioned? Why can't Black women see their own faults? Why can't you see the wrong that you have created and try to do right? It doesn't mean that every Black man is right, but you also got to accept accountability for your actions as well.
Okay, so I was listening to her because I was like trying to find a few content. I'll probably do a bit more better breakdown another time. I want to be able to break it down properly. But I think when I'm listening to a lot of this kind of stuff, right, I realize that a lot of this stuff, if I've watched a bit of her content is geared towards men. And what I realize is, why is it that men are drawn to this? Why are men drawn to this particular aspect of content? Like her, there's also Danica, there's a few other people that space as well, like that they don't hold a good balance. And you know they don't hold a good balance because they can't provide both sides of the tail. If you can only provide one side of the tail, you tend to end up becoming very one-sided, and it ends up becoming in a space where you actually begin to pander. This is what you're talking about, right? The very thing they accuse Derek Jackson of, that this particular manosphere, and I'm talking about manosphere people, but I'm not talking about the normal average Black man. This ain't the conversation we having. Can I be honest with you? The average Black man and Black woman, we are sitting in our household. There is a lot of Black men who do, but we're sitting in our household. We're not vexed at this. We're not having conversations like this where we're tearing down the other party. But because we're on the internet, right? And that's a good point, Above Rubies. This is what I'm saying to you. It's a dumbass conversation. It's dumb because the very people you're talking about saying that the Black men are wanting women to be accountable are not realizing you cannot have this situation by yourself. Black women cannot solve the issue within the Black community by themselves because they do not procreate by themselves. They do not have relationships by themselves. They have it with us. You can call it the Pookie and the Ray Ray all you want, but they are you. And they are me. So you cannot have it by yourself. So there is no one side is at fault more. We both have to do some work. Right? We both have to do work. Because that woman came from somebody's household. That boy came from somebody's household. So what work was being done in that household? What father and mother, what were they doing? What was the father and mother on that side doing? It takes two to tango. And I just need people to use their brain. Okay.
Why don't we start looking at it as a way on how we can improve ourselves to do better? We demand that our men behave better, that they work harder, that they become better men, while simultaneously getting upset at anybody who critiques us. It just gives off hypocrisy. We are asking for something that we are not willing to do ourselves. And it's understandable why men would run away from that. I also want to point out that in that video specifically, she never mentioned Black women. Not once did Black woman come out of her mouth. But it's really funny that it's a lot of Black.
And this is what, and I hate this. I really do. I really frustrate this because this is not the only person who said this. She said this. Anton Daniels. I'll put a video of him too. She never mentioned Black women. Are you all right? Or you're all right? When someone insinuates, I don't need to say your name. When someone insinuates, I don't need to say my name. And people are not dumb enough not to pick it up. I don't need you to say Black women because you're insinuating. What does that Black man date? Does he date other Black men? Is she in competition with other men? Let us know, because so we need to know. Because maybe we got it wrong, guys. Maybe we need to pack up. Maybe I need to leave this fight alone because we need to pack our bags and go. Because clearly you're right. She didn't mention Black women because this actually isn't about Black women. It's about other Black men. So let's pack our bags and go. Because clearly that guy likes Black men. That's what we got wrong. She's a man too. I got it wrong. My bad. Do you see what I'm saying to you? Now, what I did there was use sarcasm. And when you use sarcasm, you are actually hinting at something. So when you use insinuation, it doesn't mean you're not cut obliged or you're not excused because you use insinuation and she didn't actually say Black women. Like, no. You get what I'm saying to you?
Black women that assume that's who she was talking about. Either way,
from a traditional household, looking into the modern Western household, sometimes dysfunctional and a little bit of crazy. So that's why I collected a lot of insight, had to process it, and then started talking about it.
So, you went viral, and I want to deep dive a little bit into your thoughts. And then hopefully I can get some context behind a lot of the things that you stand for and what you believe in and stuff like that. But you went viral based off of somebody clipping up or putting together a small clip.
I was sharing my experiences of a feminine woman and my daily, really very small activities and how they impacted my husband and his daily life, right? So that was basically the whole video, what that was about. And somebody just took a small snippet out of it and then just put a certain caption on top of it. And then they just spread it into the world. And I guess it just went viral from there because they took a part of the video where I said, I had him and there was no competition and there are no family units amongst Black American families. I never said like American women. I never said that they are no competition. What I did say was, though, that there was no competition concerning other women he dated before me. I never said whether if they were white. I never mentioned that they're Black or anything like that. So, but I just knew back then when I dated my then boyfriend that nobody has done those things for him that I was doing because he was telling me about his ex-girlfriends and stuff like that. And
then you didn't need to mention Black at all. This is my point. I'm trying to say you didn't need to mention Black at all. You could have just said American, but you didn't. You specifically mentioned Black, him being Black, and a Black household. You didn't need to mention that. Why didn't you just say American? This is what I'm trying to say to you. See, I don't like that bull crap. I don't like people trying to twist us and turn us and try to be clever. We're not dumb, right? We're not stupid. So what do you think you insinuating Black households actually mean? Like I said, men are not dating men. They're dating women, right? They're dating women, right? So you are insinuating.
I was just in that video sharing my experience. And
that's a good point. Who mentioned this? Yes, absolutely good point. Actually right. She said that he was never treated well, suggesting his mom neglected him. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because he's never seen that behavior from women before. Absolutely. Because she talks about his family too. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is what I'm talking to you about. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Right? This is what I mean. So we need to get a grip. You know what I'm saying to you? This is why I don't like this stuff. I don't like it when the women do it. I don't like when the men do it. and I call it out on both sides. I hate when the black men do it. I did it when I talked about Kevin Samuels and his stupidity he was bringing to the table. I don't like this particular stupidity we're bringing to the table because it doesn't bring unity. It always brings division. And if you're telling me, oh, I'm all about bringing in the unity, well, how are you doing that? How is this doing that?
Saudi women, Arab, a lot of Arab women. I mean, when we say Arab, the Arab content over here is huge. So you got different countries, and there are subtleties and differences in between these different countries. But in general, the women are a lot more traditional over here. And part of being traditional is that there is a deep respect for the man. Now, why? But because most people don't think about this. Why? Why is that such a deep respect for the man? Women identify that the man actually protects and provide. And in regions where there is less protection, especially rural areas that don't have the police with a phone call away, the man becomes invaluable. Having a man is invaluable. Areas where they're farms, where they're out in the middle of the desert, these are areas where a man's company, having a man attached to you to protect and provide for you is vital. In developed countries, this protection and provision is outsourced to the police departments, to the fire department, to the plumber, the carpenter, all of these things. And so women take men for granted that they don't need them because they don't have an immediate need or a close proximity need for a man. So that's why the disrespect is gone. But in these regions, especially outside the cities, the man is still highly respected because they know what that man brings to you, regardless if he has $2 or $10 million. That's the reality of it. So what she's saying is that she respects that man, even though he's not rich.
It was our boss. Yeah.
Anyway, because obviously we didn't get to understand, and I'll do another video another time. My time has got to go, right? Which I totally understand. So he made a good point about obviously the fact that the women need a man in those scenarios. What again has to be spoken about is nuance, and I've really when you have these kind of conversations, we really do need nuance. We need absolute nuance, because when you start comparing cultures, you also have to be able to understand the deep culture that prevails through it and the thoughts and the processes and the ideas behind it, right? What happens when you give somebody freedom? What happens when you educate somebody that they don't need you? What happens? What happens when you have a community where you're right, where, for instance, like he said, that things are outsourced. There is a fireman, there is a policeman, there is a gardener, whatever, and there are other roles in life. What happens? Does that now invalidate her respect for you? Well, if that woman doesn't respect you, you need to get out of that place. That is not the sole reason why women don't respect men. And I hate that we had that conversation because, like I said, where is she coming from? From Germany. You're acting like she's coming from Germany, blood. Yeah, with a Turkish background, I think it is. So, as the European state, my guy, you get what I'm saying to you? It's a European state. Okay, and so we have to be also very, very careful not to try and supersede an idea that's in another culture that has a different circumstance and try to put it in this particular aspect without speaking about all the different nuances that come with that. Right? Understanding the polarity and going, okay, the men that in those countries, what's the polarity? Because the men are able to be men because they're able to provide. Can you provide in this country? Right? If we're going to start making general statements, we can start saying, well, the men that are in that country, right? There's also, if we want to start making those kind of general statements, we have to say, well, if you're in that kind of country, your life could be lost the next day by that same man that you love. Right? So we don't talk about that, right? We don't talk about all the, we don't talk about the other things that actually happen within that. That a lot of people actually operate from a place of fear too. We don't speak about that. We don't speak about the fact that women couldn't drive for a while. Let's not do that. So we have to look at both sides. I am not choosing women. I'm not choosing men. I'm saying let's not be dumb and try to play insinuation games. Look, my time is up anyway. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just annoying. But look, I mean, I think these kind of stuff is really important. And I think, you know what, this is a great opportunity for us to discuss this more, that, you know, on September the 6th, we're going to be having, you know, such discussions like this. If you feel passionate about talking about relationships and, you know, talking about how to have better relationships and having good company, then this is the time to reach out to myself, you know, and sign up for our September the 6th conversation offline, okay? Where we can actually have some real conversations. Don't just want to be here. Let's discuss these things offline, okay? Join us on September the 6th. It's called the 100 Club. We would love for you guys to turn up. It's not free, but we'd love for you guys to come join us on September the 6th. We had our one the other day. It was great. It was fun. We had some good conversations. We had married people as well. And shout out to them as well. You know what I'm saying, Chu? So if you know these kind of conversations are your level, this is your intellectual level, because we like intellectual people around here. We don't like people that don't think. Then listen, sign up for the 100 Club. You know what I'm saying, Chu? We have a session every month. And we'd love to see you guys and kind of have some conversations as well. All right. You know what I'm saying to you? Other than that, listen, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and loaded. We will drop another video probably tomorrow. We really did get you roasted, El Cid. I was dying with your conversation. There were times as well. So we'll see you guys, obviously, probably tomorrow. I'll drop a little video probably in the morning. But look, keep the conversation going in the chat. I'd love to hear your perspectives and your thoughts as well. Much appreciation. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again very, very soon. Ta-ra, ta-ra.